Florence Scovel Shinn was way ahead of the Matrix. Long before the movie, she figured out that the endless grind for survival, the scarcity, the debt, it's not the real reality. It's a simulation, a trap for your mind. In this video, Florence hands you the code to unplug from that illusion. Stick around until the end and discover the awakening to your true reality of wealth, the kind only the rich truly understand. Chapter 1. The Glitch in the Matrix. Recognizing the déjà vu of scarcity in your life. You're here because you know something. You can't quite put it into words, but you feel it. You've felt it your whole life. Something's off with the world. You don't know exactly what it is, but it's there. Like a hum in your mind, driving you crazy. That feeling is what brought you here. That feeling is the first glitch in the Matrix. In the movie, a déjà vu, a repeated event, was the sign that the simulation had been tweaked, a flaw in the code. In your life, those financial déjà vu are your signals. It's the same cycle of debt that keeps coming back no matter how hard you work. It's that moment of almost landing a big opportunity, only for it to slip away at the last second. It's the pattern of always having just enough money to cover the bills, but never enough to thrive. These aren't accidents. It's not bad luck. They're glitches in your programming. They're the echoes of a poverty code running on a loop in your subconscious. Long before the digital age, Florence Scovel Shinn got it. She called it the molds of the mind. She taught that your subconscious is like clay, shaped by your deepest beliefs and fears. Once a mold of scarcity is formed, maybe from something you heard as a kid, like money is dirty or the rich don't go to heaven, your subconscious, like an obedient computer program, keeps recreating that reality over and over. It pulls in situations, people, and circumstances that fit that mold perfectly. Your financial déjà vu is proof you're stuck in one of these molds. You switch jobs, but the money problems follow. You pay off one debt, only for another to pop up in its place. The scenery changes, but the script stays the same. Why? Because you're not rewriting the source code, the mold, the programming of your personal matrix. The first step to breaking free isn't fighting reality. It's recognizing the simulation. Start noticing those repeating patterns, not with frustration, but with the curiosity of a detective. Start tracking your déjà vus. There it is again, that anxiety every time an unexpected bill shows up. There it is again, self-sabotage, quitting a promising project just when it's starting to take off. Each moment of awareness is like spotting a line of faulty code. You're beginning to see the structure of your prison. And as Florence taught, what you see with your spiritual eye, you gain power over. You can't change a program you don't even know is running. The Bible is packed with stories of people trapped in déjà vu cycles until a divine intervention or a shift in consciousness broke the pattern. Think of the Israelites in the desert. For 40 years, they lived a déjà vu of grumbling and lack. They'd get the miracle of manna in the morning, but by evening they were complaining and doubting again. It was a loop of provision and ingratitude that kept them wandering in circles, unable to step into the promised land that was right there. An entire generation, except for Joshua and Caleb, who ran a different program of faith, died in that loop. Freedom only came when a new generation, with a new mindset, chose to break the cycle and believe in the promise. Your mission now is to become a glitch hunter. What's the most common financial déjà vu in your life? Is it the cycle of spending everything you earn? The fear that freezes you when it's time to invest? The belief that you'll always get shortchanged? Pinpoint your main pattern, and if you're bold enough, share it in the comments. Just writing it down starts to loosen its grip on you. If you're beginning to spot the cracks in your reality and you're ready to learn how to break through, drop a like to signal your awakening. And subscribe to the channel to keep stepping into your wealth consciousness. Chapter 2. The Red Pill of Truth. Choosing to believe in invisible abundance. You've spotted the glitches in your reality. You've seen the cycles of scarcity repeating, and you felt that something is fundamentally wrong. Now you're standing at a crossroads, facing the same choice Neo had in the Matrix: the blue pill or the red pill. The blue pill is the reality you know. It's the belief that the world is material, that wealth is limited, that you have to fight and claw to survive. Take the blue pill, and the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You stay plugged into the comfortable simulation of scarcity. But the red pill? That's the truth. And the truth, as Florence Scovel Shinn taught, is this: the reality you see with your eyes is just a shadow, a reflection. The real reality is spiritual, and in that realm, abundance isn't just possible, it's the only reality there is. Taking the red pill means choosing to believe in that invisible abundance, even when your visible reality screams the opposite. This choice isn't passive. It's a conscious, often tough decision. It's your first act of rebellion against the poverty matrix. The matrix has programmed you to trust only what your five senses can perceive. It's taught you to put faith in your bank statement, the news about economic crises, the opinions of friends who are also stuck in the simulation. The red pill of truth demands that you pull your faith out of the world of appearances and anchor it firmly in the invisible. It's what the Bible calls faith: the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Florence would say it's about aligning your mind with the divine mind, which knows only perfection, fullness, and infinite provision. By choosing the red pill, you're declaring, no matter what my eyes see, I choose to believe in the truth of my infinite supply. No matter what my ears hear, I choose to listen to the voice of my intuition guiding me to prosperity. No matter what logic says, I choose to trust the higher logic of the spirit. This is the true awakening. It's not a one-time event, but a choice you make every day and every moment. Every time anxiety creeps in, you choose again. Every time doubt rears its head, you choose again. You choose the truth of abundance over the illusion of lack. The Bible is full of people who face this same choice. Think of the spies sent by Moses to scout the promised land in Numbers chapter 13. 12 spies went out. They all saw the same physical reality: a land flowing with milk and honey, but also inhabited by giants and fortified cities. 10 of the spies took the blue pill. They fixated on the giants and the walls. Their report: we can't go up against those people. They're stronger than we are. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes. They bought into the reality of limitation. But 2 spies, Joshua and Caleb, took the red pill. They saw the same giants but chose to focus on God's promise, the invisible reality of victory. Their report: let's go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. 10 chose the simulation of fear. 2 chose the reality of faith. Today, the red pill and the blue pill are in front of you. Will you keep believing in the giants of debt and competition, or will you choose to believe in the promised land of your divine abundance? The choice is yours, and yours alone. No one can make it for you. If you choose the red pill, if you choose to awaken to the truth of your wealth, declare it in the comments: I choose the red pill. This is your first conscious act of unplugging. Drop a like as a sign of your choice. And subscribe, because now that you've chosen to wake up, the next step is learning how to fight. How to uninstall the programs that have held you back for so long. Welcome to your new reality. Chapter 3: Unplugging the Cables, the Power of the Word to Uninstall the Poverty Program. You've chosen the red pill. You've woken up to the truth that scarcity is a simulation. But waking up isn't enough. You're still plugged into the matrix by countless invisible cables. Your limiting beliefs, your deep-rooted fears, the poverty programs running in your subconscious for years. Trying to live a life of abundance with those programs still active is like installing new software on a virus-riddled computer. It just won't work. The first practical step to breaking free is to unplug those cables. And the tool you'll use, your delete command, is the power of your spoken word. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand. In our terms, your word is your admin keyboard. It's how you access the source code of your subconscious and start uninstalling faulty programs. The poverty matrix thrives on the words you use every day. often without even noticing. Phrases like, "I don't have enough money," "That's too expensive for me," "Life is a struggle," or "I'll never get out of debt," are like commands that reinforce and strengthen the simulation. Every time you say them, you're plugging a cable back in, fortifying your own prison. Step 1 is silence, the conscious choice to stop verbalizing lack. It's biting your tongue when a complaint is about to slip out. Step 2 is replacement. You can't just delete a program. You need to install a new one in its place. That's where affirmations of power come in, what Florence called decrees. An affirmation isn't some vague positive thought. It's a direct command, a declaration of the spiritual truth you chose with the red pill. You say it out loud, with authority and feeling. You're literally hacking your brain, carving out new neural pathways. When the old program runs the thought, "I don't have money," you interrupt it and install the new code with a verbal command. "I am a magnet for divine wealth. My supply is infinite and flows from an inexhaustible source." When the old program says, "That's too expensive," you override it with, "Infinite intelligence is my source of supply, and everything I desire is already given to me in the divine plan." This process is like a software war. At first, the old program will fight back. Your logical mind, your inner Agent Smith, will scoff. "You're saying that, but look at your bank account." That's why repetition is key. You have to be more stubborn than the program. Florence taught to repeat affirmations morning, noon, and night, bombarding your subconscious with the new truth until it has no choice but to accept it as the new operating system. The Bible showcases this power of the Word in the ultimate act of creation in Genesis. The world wasn't built through effort, but through the Word. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God's Word didn't describe reality, it created it. And since you're made in the image and likeness of God, your words carry a spark of that same creative power. Think of Jesus healing the sick. He rarely used complex rituals. He spoke direct verbal commands. "Get up and walk. Be clean." He spoke to reality, and reality obeyed. His words were the software that rewrote the code of sickness into health. You have that same power to rewrite the code of poverty into wealth. Your task now is to start the uninstallation. Identify one negative phrase about money you say often, just one. Then create a power affirmation to replace it. For example, if you always say, "I work so hard and never make enough," your new affirmation could be, "I am richly rewarded for my service, with plenty left to give and invest." What's your most common negative phrase, and what power affirmation will you use to counter it? Share your new verbal weapon in the comments. If you're ready to start reprogramming your mind, drop a like to declare war on your old programs. And subscribe, because mastering the word is just the beginning of your liberation. Chapter 4, The Agent Smith of Doubt, How to Neutralize the Matrix Guardian Within You. You've taken the red pill and started using your words to unplug the cables. But the Matrix won't let you go that easily. It has a defense system, a guardian. In the movie, it was Agent Smith, a relentless program whose sole purpose was to maintain order and eliminate anyone threatening the simulation. On your journey to wealth, you have an Agent Smith too. He doesn't wear a black suit and sunglasses. He's far more intimate and dangerous. Your Agent Smith is your own doubt, that cold, logical inner voice that surfaces every time you try to change. It's the guardian of your old programming, and its mission is to keep you tethered to the poverty matrix. The Agent Smith of doubt is a master of disguise. It doesn't sound like an enemy. It sounds like the voice of reason. When you make your wealth affirmation, it whispers, "Be realistic. Look at your debts." When you get an inspired idea for a business, it sneers, "You're not good enough. Others have tried and failed. Who do you think you are?" It weaponizes your memories of past failures. It projects catastrophic scenarios for the future. It feeds on fear and logic rooted solely in what's already happened. It's the Matrix's antivirus program, designed to detect and destroy any thought of faith, hope, or change, as if it's a threat to the system. Florence Scovel Shinn called this force the army of the alien, or the carnal mind. She taught that trying to fight doubt with logic is a losing battle because doubt is the logic of the Matrix. You can't beat Agent Smith by playing his game. Arguing with doubt is like fighting a shadow. You just exhaust yourself. The only way to neutralize it is to do what Neo eventually learned. Stop fighting and realize it has no real power over you. Doubt only has the power you give it. It's a program, an echo of the past. You who chose the red pill are connecting to a new operating system, the divine mind. Neutralizing the agent. Smith of doubt happens in 2 steps. First, recognize it without engaging. When that voice of doubt creeps in, don't fight it or believe it. Just observe it and label it. Say to yourself, there's Agent Smith. Hello, doubt. I see you, but I'm not serving you anymore. By doing this, you separate yourself from it. You stop being the doubt and become the observer of it. That creates a gap between you and the program. And in that gap, its power weakens. The second step is to flood it with truth. You don't argue with doubt. You ignore it and affirm the truth even louder. When Agent Smith says you're going to fail, you don't reply, "No, I won't." You turn to the source and declare with authority, "The infinite intelligence within me knows no failure. Divine success is my only reality." You don't fight the darkness, you turn on the light. The Bible gives us a classic showdown with the Agent Smith of doubt in the story of David and Goliath. Goliath was doubt personified, massive, experienced, heavily armed. His tactic? Verbal intimidation. For 40 days he shouted insults and challenges, paralyzing Israel's entire army with fear, the matrix of defeat. Everyone looked at Goliath through the lens of logic and concluded the battle was impossible. Then came David. No armor, no war experience. But he wasn't operating by the matrix's logic. He was plugged into the reality of faith. When King Saul tried to put his armor on David, trying to make him fight by the system's rules, David rejected it. He didn't fight Goliath with Goliath's weapons. He faced him with his weapon of power, the word of faith. He didn't say, "I think I can beat you." He declared victory before the battle. "The Lord will deliver you into my hand, and all the earth will know there is a God in Israel." He neutralized Goliath's intimidation with a higher truth. Only then did he use his slingshot. Action was the final step, not the first. What's the main weapon your inner Agent Smith uses against you? Is it the fear of looking foolish? The memory of a past failure? The voice of reason telling you to stay small? Identify your inner enemy's primary tactic, and if you want, share it in the comments. Naming it is the first step to disarming it. If you're ready to stop wrestling with your doubts and start neutralizing them with the light of truth, drop a like and subscribe, because in the next chapter we'll teach you how to bend spoons and break the rules of reality. Chapter 5. Learning to bend the spoon. The faith that proves the rules of reality can be broken. You've just taken down Agent Smith of doubt. Now you're ready to level up your mastery within the Matrix. Learning to bend the spoon. In the movie, Neo watches a kid bend a spoon with nothing but his mind. The kid drops the ultimate truth bomb. Don't try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, just try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. Then you'll see it's not the spoon that bends, it's only yourself. This is one of the deepest lessons for anyone chasing wealth. The spoon is the so-called rules of material reality, the matrix drilled into you. Supply and demand, the need for capital to invest, the idea that time equals money, or the belief that the economy dictates your prosperity. Trying to bend these rules, fighting them on the physical plane, is a losing game. The secret is to see the truth. These rules aren't the ultimate reality. They're just constructs within the simulation. The real reality is the divine mind, where lack doesn't exist, limitations are an illusion, and impossibilities are irrelevant. When you get this, it's not the rules that bend, it's your perception that expands, and the rules become irrelevant. Florence Scovel Shinn nailed this principle with brilliance. She called it the law of the miracle. To her, a miracle wasn't about breaking the laws of nature, it was about operating under a higher law. Think of gravity versus aerodynamics. A plane doesn't break gravity when it takes off. It just operates under the higher law of aerodynamics, which transcends gravity. In the same way, faith is the higher law that transcends the laws of economics and scarcity. When you operate from faith, you're not denying the existence of your bank account or an economic crisis. You're just refusing to give them the final say. You're tapping into the higher law of divine provision, which can create wealth out of thin air, open doors where walls stand, and provide in the most unexpected ways. Bending the spoon in your financial life means living by this higher law. It means giving generously when the matrix's logic screams to hoard every penny. It means pouring your time and energy into a project sparked by your intuition, even when the market says it's a bad bet. It means resting and trusting in divine provision when the matrix's programming yells that you need to grind harder. Every one of these acts is proof you know there is no spoon. You know your source isn't the market, your job, or the economy. It's the infinite mind. And that mind isn't bound by the simulation's limits. The Bible, at its core, is a playbook for bending spoons. Picture Jesus walking on water. The matrix's rule, the law of density, says a man sinks in water. Jesus didn't fight that law. He operated from a higher law, faith, that made him master over the elements. When Peter tried it, he walked on water as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, the higher law. The second he focused on the wind and waves, the matrix's reality, his agent Smith of doubt kicked in, he slipped back to the lower law, and he started to sink. Or think of the loaves and fishes. The matrix's rule says 5 loaves and 2 fish feed a handful of people. But Jesus blessed them, gave thanks, activated the higher law of gratitude and abundance, and the material world bent to that new reality, feeding a crowd. Your mission now is to spot a spoon in your life. What's the material rule that's holding you captive? The belief that you need money to make money? The rule that you need a degree to succeed? The idea that your past dictates your future? Pick one of those spoons and, in the comments, declare your intention to stop trying to bend it and start seeing the truth. There is no spoon. Proclaim that you're ready to live by the higher law of faith. If you're fired up to break the simulation's rules, drop a like to show you've cracked the code. And subscribe, because in the next chapters, we'll dive into how to receive the instructions for navigating this new, rule-free world. Chapter 6. The Oracle of Intuition, Receiving Wisdom. Downloads to navigate out of the simulation.
You've woken up. You've started rewriting your code with words and bending reality's rules with faith. But now that you're outside the simulation, how do you find your way? The old street signs, the dusty maps of the matrix, your parents' advice, the college-to-corporate career pipeline don't work anymore. You need a new GPS, a guide that knows the terrain of true reality. That guide is your intuition oracle. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the superconscious mind, or the divine intelligence within you. It's your direct line to the developer of this game, the source of all wisdom. Learning to hear and trust these downloads of insight is the ultimate skill for thriving beyond the matrix. Intuition isn't some fuzzy feeling or random vibe. It's sharp, specific guidance, a sudden knowing you can't explain. It's that idea that hits you out of nowhere in the shower, the unexplainable urge to call someone, visit a place, or pick up a certain book. Those are your oracle's downloads. The poverty matrix does everything to jam this signal. It keeps you drowning in noise, the TV blaring, phone notifications pinging, endless worry about the future. That static blocks your ability to receive these downloads clearly. So the first step to connecting with your oracle is silence. Carve out moments in your day to unplug from the chaos and just listen. Meditate, walk in nature, or sit quietly for 5 minutes. In that stillness, the download finds room to land. Florence taught that after making your affirmation or request, you should be still and see the salvation of the Lord. Being still isn't just passive, it's active listening. You've asked the universe your question through your affirmation. Now you need to hush up and hear the answer. It won't come as a booming voice. It'll show up as a hunch, a gut feeling, a spark of inspiration. Your job is to act on that first intuitive nudge, no matter how illogical it seems. Action proves your trust in the guidance. If you get a hit to write a book, start with the first page. If it's to create a product, sketch the first prototype. Obeying that small initial instruction unlocks the next download. The Bible is packed with stories of prosperity and breakthroughs coming through intuitive downloads that defied logic. Take Philip, the evangelist in Acts chapter 8. He was in the middle of a thriving revival in Samaria when he got a download from the Spirit. Get up and go south to the road that goes from Jerusalem to Gaza, a desert road. The Matrix's logic would scream, "Stay here." This is where the action is. Why go to a deserted road? But Philip trusted the nudge. On that empty road, he met an Ethiopian eunuch, a high-ranking official of the queen, reading scripture and struggling to understand it. Philip taught him, baptized him, and through that single act, opened the door for the gospel to reach an entire nation. His greatest opportunity wasn't in the obvious, busy place. It was on the illogical path his intuition pointed him toward. Your inner oracle is always broadcasting. Are you tuned into the right frequency to hear it? Is your life full of noise or receptive silence? Start tonight by asking your intuition a question before bed like, what's my next perfect step toward wealth? In the morning, pay attention to the first thought or idea that pops up. That's your download. When was the last time you had a strong gut feeling and ignored it? What happened? Reflecting on that can help you value this tool more. If you feel like sharing, drop your story in the comments. Want to strengthen your connection to your inner guide? Give this a like to open that channel and hit subscribe because the next chapters will show you how to act on these divine directions to break free from the simulation for good.
Chapter 7. The Exit from Egypt. The story of Moses and the escape from a system of mental slavery.
Your journey out of the poverty matrix isn't some new trail. It's as old as humanity itself, a story of the soul chasing freedom. And there's no clearer, more powerful blueprint for this escape than the story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt. This isn't just a religious tale. It's your playbook for breaking free. Egypt, with its pharaoh, taskmasters, and hollow promise of security for backbreaking labor, is the poverty matrix in living color. Pharaoh is your agent Smith, that voice of doubt and oppression sneering, "You'll never get out. You belong to me." The bricks the Israelites were forced to make, that's your busy work, the soul-draining grind that builds Pharaoh's empire, not your own. The first step to freedom, as we've seen, is waking up. The Israelites groaned because of their slavery and cried out. Exodus 2:23. They saw the glitch in the matrix. They got fed up with the endless loop of enslavement. That cry triggered divine intervention. God calls Moses, someone already outside the system, to lead the way. Moses is your awakened consciousness, the part of you that knows the truth. And what's the first thing God gives Moses? A power phrase. I am that I am. This is your affirmation of authority, your divine ID that gives you dominion over Pharaoh. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that saying I am claims your divine power. When you declare I am wealthy, I am abundant, you're tapping into the same force that freed the Israelites. Freedom didn't come instantly. Pharaoh pushed back. He hardened his heart. That's what happens when you start to shift. Your old programming, your inner agent Smith, fights back. Things might even feel worse for a bit. Pharaoh ordered the Israelites to make the same quota of bricks without being given straw. The matrix will test your grit. That's when the plagues come in. In your life, these plagues are acts of faith that defy the matrix's logic. It's giving when it feels like you have nothing. It's resting in faith when your programming screams to hustle harder. Each act of faith is a plague that chips away at Pharaoh's grip on your mind. Then comes the final act of liberation, Passover and the Red Sea crossing. Passover, with the lamb's blood on the doorposts, is your act of shielding yourself with spiritual truth. It's declaring, the poverty matrix can sweep through, but it can't touch me. I'm under the law of abundance. The Red Sea crossing, that's your leap of faith. It's when you ditch the job, the mindset, the relationship that's kept you chained. You step into the unknown, trusting a path will open where there seems to be none. And when you take that step, the sea parts. Your faith makes the way. Best of all, when you cross, the sea closes behind you, drowning Pharaoh's pursuing army. Your old doubts, fears, and patterns, gone for good. You're free. But the story doesn't end there. After liberation comes the wilderness. This is the in-between, where you learn to live by freedom's new rules, trusting daily provision, the manna, and following the cloud of guidance, your intuition. Plenty of folks start missing Egypt's onions, the fake comfort of slavery. It's a test to see if you truly want freedom or just a break from the pain. What's your Egypt onion you're scared to leave behind? The steady paycheck? Your family's approval? The cozy trap of your comfort zone? Be real with yourself. Naming what ties you to Egypt is key to breaking free. If it feels right, share your thoughts in the comments to help let it go. Ready to cross your personal Red Sea? Drop a like and subscribe, because the next chapters will guide you through the wilderness to your promised land.
Chapter 8. Reprogramming the Source Code. Lot's secret to not looking back and leaving the old reality.
You've crossed your Red Sea. You took the leap of faith and physically broke free from your Egypt. But escaping the matrix isn't just a physical move, it's a mental one, first and foremost. The trickiest part of the journey isn't getting out of the simulation. It's making sure the simulation gets out of you. You might have ditched the old job, the old debts, the toxic relationships, but if your mind keeps sneaking glances backward, you risk being yanked back or stuck in limbo. This chapter's about the golden rule for staying free, reprogramming your source code by refusing to look back. And the story that nails this principle with chilling clarity is Lot and his wife, fleeing the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. In our allegory, Sodom and Gomorrah are the poverty matrix at its worst, a toxic system of beliefs and behaviors so rotten it's doomed to collapse. Lot and his family get a shot at escape, a divine download through angels who give them crystal clear instructions. Flee for your life. Don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Escape to the hills, or you'll be swept away. Genesis 19 verse 17. This wasn't some random command. It was a core spiritual law. Don't look back meant don't give your attention, energy, or focus to the old reality that's crumbling. It meant severing all mental and emotional ties to the past. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that what you focus on, you fuel and pull into your life. When you look back at past failures, injustices, or losses, you're watering the weeds of your old garden. You're keeping the poverty program running in your mind, even if your body's left the simulation behind. Looking back is doubting your choice. It's wondering if the fake security of Egypt was better than the uncertainty of the wilderness. It's pining for your old identity. Every backward glance is an act of disbelief in the promised land waiting ahead. The Bible spells out what happened. Lot obeyed and kept moving. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. This wasn't punishment from a vengeful God. It was the consequence of a spiritual law. By looking back, she tethered her consciousness, her vibration, to the reality being destroyed. Her focus locked her into that cycle of judgment and ruin, and she became part of it, frozen, barren, a pillar of salt. How many people do you know who are stuck, unable to move forward, because they're constantly replaying the past? They're pillars of salt, trapped between a dead past and a future they won't let themselves reach. Reprogramming your source code takes fierce mental discipline. It's what Florence called selective vision. You train your mind to lock in on what you want to create, not what you left behind. When a memory of an old failure pops up, Agent Smith trying to drag you back, don't dwell on it. Don't wallow in its emotions. Bless it, release it, and instantly pivot to your vision of the promised land. Change the mental channel. It's an act of will. It's deliberately choosing where your attention goes. It's letting the dead bury their dead. Your job is with the living, the future, the new reality you're building. What's the Sodom you're trying to escape? A history of financial flops? A family story steeped in scarcity? An old victim identity? And most importantly, what's the main temptation pulling your gaze backward? Guilt? Regret? A longing for fake security? Naming it is critical. If it helps, drop a comment declaring, "I'm not looking back. My focus is on my promised land." Make that your mantra. If you're all in on keeping your eyes on the future and leaving the past behind, hit that like button as a sign of your commitment. And subscribe, because the next chapters will show you how to actively build your new world now that you've cleared the ground. Chapter 9. The Architect of Your Own Reality. Building your new world with thought, word, and deed. You've escaped the matrix. You've crossed the wilderness and refused to look back. Now, you're standing on fresh, open ground. The promised land. This is the most thrilling moment, and for some, the scariest. The poverty simulation is gone, but what are you going to build in its place? You're no longer a prisoner. You're the architect of your own reality. Freedom isn't just the absence of chains, it's the responsibility to create something new. And like any architect, you'll use 3 core tools to raise the structure of your abundant new life: thought, word, and action. The first tool is thought, your blueprint, your design. Before a building goes up, it has to exist in vivid detail in the architect's mind. You need a crystal clear vision of what you're building. Saying, "I want to be rich," is too vague. What does your wealthy life look like? Where do you live? How do you spend your days? Who's in your circle? What value do you bring to the world? Florence Scovel Shinn called this your divine plan, a unique blueprint of joy and success tailored for you. Your first job as the architect is to get quiet, tap into your intuition, your oracle, and ask for this blueprint to be revealed. Sketch it in your mind with as much detail and color as you can. Feel the thrill of already living in that finished design. This is your visualization work. The second tool is word, your contracts and construction orders. Once the blueprint is clear, an architect doesn't just daydream about it. They start issuing orders. They hire crews, order materials, sign contracts. Your words set the building process in motion. Your affirmations and decrees are the orders you give to the universe and your subconscious. You look at your mental blueprint and describe it out loud as if it's already real. I'm grateful for my perfect home, in the perfect place, filled with peace and abundance. I'm thankful for my thriving business that serves many and rewards me richly. Your words are spiritual contracts that ensure the right materials, people, opportunities, resources start showing up at your construction site. The third, non-negotiable tool is action, your construction crew. No building rises on its own, no matter how perfect the blueprint or clear the orders. Workers have to show up and start laying bricks. Your inspired actions are that crew. Guided by your intuition, you begin laying the bricks of your new reality. You make that call. You sign up for that course. You launch that website. Every small action, when aligned with your blueprint, thought, and your order's word, is a brick set in place. It's the act of faith that shows the universe you're serious about your project. Action is the bridge between the invisible world of your vision and the visible world of manifestation. The Bible gives us the ultimate architect, Noah. In Genesis 6, God hands Noah a detailed blueprint, thought, for an ark, specific dimensions, materials, compartments. Then God gives the order, word, make yourself an ark. And what does Noah do? The text says, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. He acted. He didn't just visualize the ark. He didn't just affirm it was done. He grabbed his tools and started building, even when there wasn't a cloud in the sky. He perfectly united thought, the divine blueprint, word, the command, and action, the building. The result: salvation and a fresh start for humanity. You're standing in your promised land. What's the first structure you'll build? The tower of your financial freedom? The temple of perfect health? The garden of harmonious relationships? Grab your mental drafting board and start sketching. What's one detail of your ideal life you'll start visualizing today? Share it in the comments if it feels right. If you're ready to pick up your tools and break ground, hit that like button to christen your construction site. And subscribe, because the final chapter will show you how to maintain and enjoy the magnificent life you've built. Chapter 10: Living Outside the Matrix. How to maintain your connection to Source and live in sovereign freedom. You've broken out of the simulation. You've mastered the rules of the game. You've laid the foundation for your new reality. Welcome to life outside the Matrix. This isn't a finish line, it's a fresh start, a new way of being. Living in sovereign freedom doesn't mean challenges vanish. It means they no longer control you. You're no longer a pawn on someone else's board. You're a conscious player in your own game, co-creating with the Source. Maintaining this freedom, this connection, is your new, joyful discipline. It's the art of living as an awakened master in the world, without being of it. The first key to holding on to your freedom is relentless vigilance over your vibration. The poverty matrix still lurks out there, broadcasting its programming of fear, scarcity, and doubt through news, conversations, and culture. Your job isn't to fight it, but to maintain your own vibrational force field, as we explored earlier. This comes through a daily, non-negotiable practice of connecting with the Source. Your meditation, prayer, affirmations, and reading of uplifting texts aren't just a cure for the disease of poverty anymore. They're your daily nutrition to sustain the health of abundance. Think of Neo at the end of the Matrix. He didn't dodge bullets anymore. He stopped them mid-air because he knew they weren't real. Likewise, you learn to see the world's bullets of negativity and let them pass through you, untouched, because you know the only reality is the divine mind. The second key is living in a state of constant gratitude and service. Gratitude keeps your channel to the Source clear and open. You wake up giving thanks, not for what you want, but for what you are, a divine, abundant, free being. Service is how you let the Source's abundance flow through you into the world. You become a Source agent, a conduit for wealth, wisdom, and love to reach others. Your work, your business, your relationships, all become expressions of this service. You don't work for money anymore. You work as an expression of your purpose, and money flows to you as a natural, joyful result. You become the tree of life from Revelation, bearing fruit month after month, not through struggle but by your very nature. The Bible gives us a glimpse of this sovereign freedom through Melchizedek in Genesis 14. He's a mysterious figure, called the King of Salem, meaning King of Peace, and Priest of the Most High God. He shows up, blesses Abraham, receives tithes, a nod to his spiritual authority, and vanishes. No backstory, no struggle, no beginning or end. He just is. Melchizedek represents the consciousness perfectly aligned with the Source. He's both king, master of his material world, and priest, servant of the spiritual Source. He lives in a state of peace and power that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This is your ultimate goal, to become the king and priest of your own life, ruling your material world with wisdom while humbly serving the Source of all your abundance. Your journey of liberation has brought you to this point of power and responsibility. You hold the keys, you know the code. The question isn't, how do I escape, anymore. It's, what will I create with my freedom? What's the first thing you'll do as a free citizen of your new reality? Start that project. Take that trip. Help that person. Share your first freedom action in the comments to inspire others on this path. We're grateful for the chance to guide you. If this series has been your red pill, the best way to say thanks is to subscribe and share this message, becoming a guide for others still stuck. Remember, the matrix is an option. Freedom is a choice. Choose wisely every day. Until the next video.